Hello, hello, hello. Once again, you know who this is. It's the Credit Doctor, Angelo McCutcheon, coming to you with another video on the credit repair process. And you guys know how we do when you come on in the room, whether you're watching this as a replay or you're watching this live. Give us some thumbs up, give us some hearts if you like what we're saying. The information that we're going to be sharing with you guys is to help you understand that you do not have to live with bad credit, that there is something you can do about it. And so today we're going to be talking about debt collectors. That's right. We're going to be talking about debt collectors, how basically to stop a debt collector from trying to collect money from you on an ongoing basis. What rights do you have? How do you respond to a collection letter? Yeah, we're going to get into all of this and all of that on this live. So come on in the room. Come on, come on, come on. TikTok, give us some thumbs up. Give us, some hearts if you like what we're saying. Facebook, give us some thumbs up. YouTube, hit the like and hit the share button. Facebook, hit the share button too as well. Let's get a lot of shares because this is information that I truly believe your friends and your family can benefit from, because I know a lot of people are struggling with their credit. The numbers say over 250,000 or million Americans are suffering with bad credit. 60% of Americans have credit scores of 650 and below, struggling to purchase a home, a new car, get that nice apartment, get a loan for their business, all because of bad credit. Now, as I often say, credit repair is the legal way that you have to repair your bad credit, because the laws, the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, let you know that anything that goes on your credit report, it has to be 100% accurate, folks. It has to be 100% accurate. If it's not 100% accurate, then guess what? They either have to fix it or they have to delete it from your credit reports. So that's what it's all about: restoring your credit, making sure that anything that goes on your credit report is not, or let's put it this way, making sure that anything that gets reported on your credit report is 100% accurate. You got that? The share button should be under the link. Let me see. The share button should be under the link on my Facebook page. There should be a link that you click on. Or it should be a share. Should be a share button somewhere. It should be. Yeah, should be there. Look for it. Should be there. Should be there. I'm sorry. I can't tell right now because I'm on TikTok, Facebook, and live. So all my electronic equipment is being used. All right. So we're going to talk about debt collectors, right? We're going to talk about debt collectors. Like, we know who those debt collectors are, right? You guys know who debt collectors are. Basically, those people who go out and buy your debt and then they harass you. They start calling you, calling your job, calling your phone, sending you emails, sending you collection letters. Those are what we know as debt collectors, right? And again, they buy your debts for pennies on a dollar, and then they go after you for the whole thing, right? So you might owe, let's say, Capital One $5,000, and because you didn't pay, Capital One charges it off, and then they basically sell that debt in some cases, or they just charge it off. And now, my last video, we talked about 1099-C, so go back and watch my last video. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but it actually breaks down the 1099-C, cancellation of debt, when they write it off and they write a 1099-C. But outside of that, if they decide to sell your debt, you own $5,000, they might sell it to a debt collector for probably, I don't know, $200, pennies on a dollar, $200. And then they're going to go after you. The debt collector who buys your debt is now going to go after you for the whole $5,000. That's basically how they make their money. All right. That's basically how they make their money. They buy it for cheap and then go after you for the whole thing. But before they can go after you for the whole thing, there are some laws that govern what they can and cannot do. It's called the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. You can Google that. The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the FDCPA, lets you know what debt collectors can do and what they can't do, how they can try to collect debt from you. What is that process? They can't harass you, they can't abuse you, they can't deceive you, they can't misrepresent who they are. All those things, if they doing any one of those things, they are breaking the law. And if they are found to have broken the law and you sue them, guess what? You can get up to $1,000 per violation. Nancy Greer, my sister, how are you? Life in Jersey is in the house. Life in Jersey is in the house on my Facebook page. Welcome, 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 and greetings to you as well, my sister, who's doing an awesome job over there in Jersey and Patterson and keeping everybody informed of what's going on. So shout out to my friend Nancy Greer. All right. So when debt collectors reach out to you, right, when they send you these letters saying, hey, this is, let's say, LV&V funding or portfolio recovery, and we're reaching out to you on behalf of a debt that you owe to Capital One. We want to know how you can make this payment. Now you can dispute this. If you dispute this within 30 days, then we'll get you the information to try to prove that, you owe this debt and we owe you this. That's basically the overall gist of what the collection letter says. And then sometimes they'll call you and try to tell you the same thing. And by law, they have to say those things. They have to, when the debt collector reaches out to you, either by phone or by letter or even by social media now these days or by email, they have to let you know who they are, what company they represent, and that they are trying to collect on the debt. And in that case, they got to let you know what debt it is, what the amount is, what the account number is. And then they got to say that, and if they don't say this is a violation, that this is an attempt to collect a debt. Anything that we get will be used for that purpose. And then they got to let you know that you have 30 days to dispute this debt. If you dispute it within 30 days, then we will come up with the basically the proof that you owe this debt. Wait a minute. You telling me when you send me a collection letter or you call me that I have 30 days to respond, dispute this letter, and if I dispute it within 30 days, you will then get the documents to show that I owe this debt? What do you mean you don't have the documents right now? You don't have all the elements to prove that you own this debt right now? Something's wrong with that. Something is wrong. Have you guys ever thought about that when they send you a collection letter and then at the bottom of the letter or on the phone, because they try to talk so fast on the phone to get that part out, but it says, hey, if you dispute it, we'll get the basically the evidence, the documentations to show that you owe this debt. Only when you dispute it, which means that you don't have it right now. So why are you trying to collect something you don't have right now? Of course I'm going to dispute this information. Of course I'm going to dispute it. Now, again, let me let you guys know, my name is Angelo McCutcheon. The name of my company is called the Faithful Credit Group. I have been doing credit repair for over 15 years. We've helped hundreds, if not thousands of people repair their credit over the years, taking their scores from the low 400s all the way up to the 700 and plus. Credit repair is not an overnight fix. You don't get it done in 30 days. If somebody promised you they're going to fix your credit in 30 days, most likely they're going to do something illegal, and stay away from that because it'll come back and bite you in the butt. Right? So you didn't mess it up overnight. You're not going to fix it overnight. But with time and patience, understanding what the law is and all that good stuff, you can improve it. Can I get an amen to that? Can I get an amen? Can I get some likes? TikTok. I got close to 100 people here on TikTok, and I only got one like. Let's get those hearts up. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes going. If you think this is good information, let's make it happen. There you go. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so we'll continue then. All right. So one of the main things that debt collectors hope and pray so to speak. Thanks for the amen. Thank you. Appreciate that. Is that they don't want you to know what your rights are. They don't want you to know that you have the right to dispute that, even though they put it in there, but they want you to bypass that. They don't want you to know that you have the right to dispute that and make them stop collecting debts. What's the topic of today? How to stop debt collectors from collecting on a debt. How to stop debt collectors from collecting on a debt from you. Because when they send you those letters or they call you, they are in the process of trying to collect a debt that they claim they owe. Now, the other part to stopping them is they got to prove that they own the debt. They got to prove that they own the debt. And in most cases, they don't have all of the topics. They don't have all the necessary documents to make it happen. I remember years ago, this was years ago, I used to do credit repair workshops, right, at churches and schools and businesses. And I remember I did a workshop in Jersey when I was living in New Jersey. And after I finished my presentation on credit repair, debt collectors, and how they operate, I had a gentleman come up to me. I'll never forget this. I had a gentleman come up to me and say, "Hey, everything you said about debt collectors was correct," because I used to be one. I was like, "Oh yeah, you used to be one?" He said, "Yes." And yes, I was one of those people who, listen, I'll call you from my basement if I had to and try to, get you to pay this debt and try to get that money out of you real quick before you knew what your rights are. Yeah, we do operate. The majority of us do operate like that. And I was like, well, that's good to know, because that's basically what my experience is with debt collectors. And then he said, you know what? We know in a lot of cases that we don't have the information to prove that we own the debt, because a lot of times when we buy debt from, let's say, Capital One or Wells Fargo or any of these companies, they don't always give us everything for us to prove that this debt is owed to us, that we own the debt, that you owe the debt. And he said they also put in a little secret in those things, documents they do give us, in which they say, hey, we are not letting you guys know that everything about this account, we are not explicitly saying that everything in this account is accurate. Basically let them know that, hey, there may be some things in here that's not accurate. If you buy this debt, then you take the risk, because we're not claiming that everything in these documents, these papers about this debt is accurate. That's a little known secret, you guys. I just gave you guys a little known secret of what goes on when it comes to these debt collectors. A little known secret that they know that when they're buying these debts, that number one, they're not getting all the paperwork. They're not getting the secret sauce, so to speak. And number two, inside the documents that these debt collectors are buying, it is made known to them that, hey, the information in these documents may not be accurate, may or may not be accurate. We're not letting you know that when you buy this debt, everything is accurate. Remember, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and the Fair Credit Reporting Act says what? Anything that goes on your credit report, it has to be 100% accurate. If it's not 100% accurate, you have the right to dispute that information. And in disputing it, they either have to fix it or they have to delete it from your credit report. Now, debt collectors already know that the information may not be 100% accurate. They know that from the jump. But they're hoping you don't know that. And so you don't try to fight them. So you don't try to do, your due diligence to push them away from trying to collect on the debt. And a lot of times these debt collectors, not all of them, but I'll say about 90% of them, When they're sending out letters, when they're talking to you over the phone, a lot of times they're violating your rights just in the things that they say. When they're calling you before 8 a.m. in the morning, when they're calling you after 9 p.m. at night, that's a violation. When they're calling, well, the new laws basically states that if a debt collector now calls you and you talk to them over the phone, just the one time you talk to them over the phone, even if you tell them that this is not my debt, they can't call you again for another 7 days. If a debt collector calls, it's the new law that came out at the 2021, November of 2021, by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You can look it up, Google it. Well, a debt collector calls you and speak with you over the phone, whether you tell them this is not your debt, you don't believe this is your debt, send me a collection letter, I'm not paying, no matter what, basically what you tell them, they cannot call you back for another 7 days. If they do, if anybody from that same company calls you back, that is a violation of the law. You can sue them, get a consumer attorney, and you can sue them, and you can get up to $1,000. And in some cases, have that debt forgiven just because of their violation. Speak with a consumer attorney about that. But the attorneys, and I'm saying this because you guys hear me say that I always have, at my company, always have access to attorneys. And because they are constantly suing them on behalf of my clients are getting checks for 500, 1,000, 300, 800, 2 checks, 3 checks, 1 check, just because the violations of these debt collectors. Interesting, right? I know what I'm talking about. TikTok, I got 160 people in the room, only got 81 likes. What's up? I should be at 1,000 likes right now. This is some good information. I should be at 1,000 likes, TikTok. You guys need to be hitting me on my forehead to send those hearts up. And make sure you hit the share button too. Hit the share button. Facebook, hit the share button. YouTube, hit the share button. Because you guys know your friends and family need this information. You know they need this information. So share it to your friends and family. They don't have to pay for this. This is free information that some people will charge $1,000, $2,000 to be in a room to learn this information. Okay, so let's move on. Thank you. I like the hearts are moving up. The likes are moving up. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys and gals. Appreciate it. So then the question is, when I get when a debt collector calls me, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to say to them. Right? I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to say to them. When a debt collector calls you, remember, there are things they have to tell you in that phone call. If you decide to talk to them, there are things that they have to tell you. Number 1, their name. Number 2, the name of their company. Number 3, that they're trying to collect the debt on behalf of whoever, Capital One, whoever the original creditor is. They got to tell you that. Number 4, they got to tell you the amount of the debt. Number 5, they got to let you know if there were any interest or fees to that debt. Number 6, they got to let you know that any information that they obtain through the phone call is only for the purpose of trying to collect the debt. Number 6, that you have the right to dispute this information. And disputing this information, they will then have to go and get verification of the debt. All right? So like 7 things they got to tell you in a phone call or in a letter that they send you. Now, your response, what is your response to that? Right? Here's what I tell basically my clients in a nutshell. Right? When you become my client, I give you a little bit more of this. But basically, in a nutshell, tell the debt collector, whatever you say I owe, because number 1, you're not going to tell them you owe the debt because you don't know exactly what debt they're talking about. They might say Capital One. You might know that you had a Capital One, but you don't know if that's the account that they're talking about. You don't know if that amount that they say you owe is 100% accurate. You don't know that. You don't know the account number they're giving you is 100% accurate. Remember, I told you when they buy these debts, these creditors tell them, we're not telling you that everything in this portfolio is accurate. Now, because of that, you don't know that what they're saying is 100% accurate. So you're going to tell them, send me a collection letter. Send me a collection letter outlining what you just told me and let me go over it. Let me look over it. Now, of course, they're going to agree to that. You're going to give them your post office box or your mail or email address or your mailing address, home mailing address, however you want them to send the letter. Now, the minute you give them that information, I got 734 likes on TikToks. We got to get to 1,000. We got to get to 1,000 now. That's always my goal, 1,000. So come on, tap on that forehead again. Tap on that forehead. Let's get to 1,000. I need everybody, all 30 of you guys and gals, tap on that. Let's get to 1,000. Now, here's what you're going to tell them. Here's what you're going to tell them after they agree to send you the letter. After they agree to send you the letter, you're going to tell them, before they hang up, you're going to say, at this point, I do not want you guys to call me anymore. I only want you guys to deal with me through the mail. You got that? I don't want you guys to call me anymore. I only want you guys to deal with me through the mail. That is very important. Very important. We got 1,000 likes. That's what I'm saying. Keep it going. Keep it going. Through the mail. Everybody type, whether on Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok, just type in the words through the mail. Three words, through the mail. Through the mail. Just type in the words through the mail. And the reason why I want you to type it in, because it's something about when you type something in, it registers in your brain. Thanks for the roses. Appreciate the rose. Through the mail. That's right. Through the mail. Now, why do I want you to do that? Because once you tell them, the law says, once you tell them not to call you anymore, they cannot call no one from that company cannot call you anymore. If they do, guess what? It's a violation. And guess what? You can sue them. Get you a consumer attorney and you can sue them. Thank you for your participations through the mail. Appreciate all you guys, platforms. Thank you for your participation. You can sue them after that. Get your consumer lawyer and document. Don't be afraid to document. I spoke with Jane or Mike Jones from LVNV, whatever the name of the company might be, and I told them on the 10th of July not to call my home anymore. Only deal with me through the mail. Now, it's important that you tell them to only deal with you through the mail, whether it's your email or your mailing address, because you don't want to cut off total communication. You don't want to cut off total communication, because then that only leaves them with the options of filing a lawsuit, and you want to make sure that's really on the back burner, the last thing that they do. So you give them that option, just deal with me through the mail. So you want them to send you letters through the mail. Now, why you want them to send you letters through the mail? Because you want to see, are they violating your rights through the mail? When they send you a collection letter, are they doing it according to what the law says they have to put in there? We have had hundreds, when I say hundreds of over the years, collection letters that has been given to my clients that actually violated the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And our attorneys that we were connected to actually sued them, was suing them. Clients was getting checks for $1,000. So listen, I'm telling you something that works. Through the mail. So you tell them, when you speak with them, if you happen to speak with them over the phone, hey, and don't let them overtalk you. Don't let them fast talk you. Slow them down, walk them down. Say, hey, listen, you're claiming that I owe a debt. I'm not quite familiar with this debt. Send it to me. Send me a letter. Send it to me. Here's my mailing address or here's my email address, but send it to me. Let me look over it. right? Because them looking over it, you looking over it, you may find some serious violations, or you may not, but you can give it to a consumer attorney. That's why I have all my clients send me their collection letters. Send me your collection letters. Some of them violates the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Some of them don't, but you never know until you let a consumer attorney review them. And that's one of the advantages that we have access to consumer attorneys that will do that. Right? So you want them to do that, so there may be a violation in that. Now, also, when they send you these collection letters, right? Now, this is your time to respond to it. Right now, you want to dispute the information that's in there. So, what things do you want to dispute in a collection letter? What things do you want to dispute in a, or what things do you want the debt collector to show you? We're going to answer that on our next live. We're going to talk about what you need to ask a debt collector when they send you a collection letter. When they send you a collection letter, right? And I'll show you an example of a collection letter on our next live. When they send you a collection letter, when a debt collector send you a collection letter, you have the right to dispute that information, but what should you be asking for in that letter that you're going to send them? I'm going to give you at least 8 things you can ask for. There's a lot, but I'm going to give you 8 things in no concise order, just 8 things that you need to ask for in a collection letter. All right. Once again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Again, my name is Angelo McCutcheon, the Credit Doctor, letting you guys know that if you're interested in a free credit repair over the phone consultation with me, just inbox me. TikTok, you guys can inbox me. Facebook, inbox me. YouTube, inbox me. All my information you can find in my profile. We'll go over your credit reports, let you know what we can do to help you fix it, and then you decide how you want to move forward with it. But the consultation is free. Reach out to us. Until then, you guys stay blessed. Whatever you do, stay blessed. What's even more important is that you are a blessing. And with that, we say